Ever sat down full of good intentions only to watch an hour evaporate into doom scrolling and self-doubt? You're not broken. You're missing a reliable way to flip the switch into focused, confident work. In this short session, I'm going to give you practical neuroscience-backed steps to prime your brain, quiet the inner critic, and structure tasks so flow becomes a repeatable habit, not a lucky accident. I'm Will Deek, college professor and longtime martial artist, and today we're talking about simple, fast ways to build self-belief by training your brain to enter flow. Let's start by picturing your brain as a high-performance engine that runs on a particular chemical mix. Dopamine sparks motivation and the sense of reward. Norepinephrine sharpens attention. Anandamide opens you to creative pattern recognition. Endorphins, they smooth out pain and pressure so effort feels easier. These four together are the secret sauce of flow. They don't show up randomly. They respond to specific triggers, novelty, clear goals, and immediate feedback. If you can reliably create those triggers, you can reliably coax this chemistry into place. Now, before you get into flow, your nervous system needs to feel safe enough to focus. That's the job of a quick priming routine. Take 3 slow, full breaths. On each exhale, visualize the specific end result of the task in front of you. The paragraph finished, the code running, the sketch completed. Controlled breathing calms the heart rate, and visualization nudges dopamine. Together, they send a clear signal. This is focus time. Here's an example. I once worked with an illustrator who used to lose evenings scrolling on her phone. Now she starts each session with this 2-step anchor. Breathe, imagine the finished piece, then begin. Now she hits flow faster and she stays there longer. Flow favors calm alertness, not frantic adrenaline. Loud music, too much caffeine, or hyperactive self-talk, they might feel productive in that moment, but they spike chemistry in the wrong direction and they burn dopamine quickly. Aim for smooth, steady energy, just enough arousal to be engaged and enough ease to prevent panic. That balance is what produces the sustained hum of focus, not a short, exhausting rush. Now, let's look at real confidence killer. Your inner critic, that little narrator that says you're not ready or this isn't good enough. Neuroscience points to the default mode network, or the DMN, as the source of that internal dialogue. Being in flow quiets that DMN, but once engaged, the louder it gets. And now there's less room for doing. So the first move is not to battle that critic, but to notice it and label it. Say silently to yourself, that's just the critic, or thinking. Stopping to name it is like using the volume knob to turn down your radio rather than smashing it. Awareness without judgment reduces its volume. Now you can layer in simple NLP move. You can act as if. Don't force your belief. Instead, mimic the posture, the rhythm, the tone you have when you're in a confident groove. Stand or sit how you do when you're centered. Take a purposeful breath and then start. The body feeds the brain just as much as the other way around. Athletes use this technique all the time. Right before each rep, they give themselves a brief cue as they exhale. Move as if I'm in mid-flow. This allows their performance to smooth out because they're pushing aside, checking, and analyzing, and allowing trained motor skills, that motor memory, to take over. Here's a practical exercise you can try right now. Close your eyes just for a second. Drop your shoulders and picture a volume knob labeled critic. Turn it down from an 8 to a 2. Feel how that creates some mental space. Next, breathe in, label any judgment as thinking, and then ask, what's the next concrete step I need to take? That combination, quieting the critic and identifying a single next action, frees up cognitive bandwidth and invites flow. Perception is the final lever. Flow lives in the sweet spot between boredom and panic, known as the challenge skill balance. If a task is too easy, you'll just disengage. It's just too hard. You'll spiral. So what the brain actually rewards is progress, not perfection. Small successive wins spike dopamine more reliably than occasional huge wins. You can use what's called the zoom lens technique from NLP to manage perceived difficulty. When a task feels overwhelming, zoom out and view its timeline and its sequence. Calm yourself by seeing the whole as manageable. Then zoom into the very next bite-sized action that's clearly doable for you. Start there. That'll build momentum for you. I coached a writer who turned deadline into mission. That same work, different frame, and the threat response turned into curiosity and forward motion. A tiny cognitive nudge you can use. Instead of asking, can I do this? Ask, what would just 5% harder look like? That keeps your nervous system attentive without flipping into threat mode. Confidence isn't a prerequisite for action. It's the byproduct of moving into a slightly stretched challenge and then accumulating these micro successes. Put it in a whole routine together. And for a compact practice, you can use right before a focus session. Here, breathe 3 times and then visualize a finished result to prime your chemistry. Label any critic as thinking. Lower its volume with that volume knob visualization, and then take one clear next step. If the task bogs you down, use that zoom lens. Zoom out to calm and then zoom in to identify that next immediate action. Keep the as-if posture and that rhythm. Spend 20 to 50 minutes on the work and then a short break. Then review immediate feedback. And this closes that loop and fuels the next session. Do this regularly and the brain learns the pattern. Breathe, quiet, act, feedback. Over time, your nervous system begins to expect and reward that sequence. What once felt like rare lightning now becomes a dependable circuit. You're not fighting motivation, you're training it. One more thing, if you want strategies that build on this, more flow hacks that use neuroscience and mindset tools together, subscribe now. This exercise was just step 1, and future sessions will expand your toolkit. Until the next time, this is Will Deek wishing you only success. And remember, flow can become your default setting. Practice daily. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.